Namaste. This is JV and Dr. Vishal Saxena, Professor in Mathematics in JAYOTI VIDYAPEETH Women's University, Jaipur. I am in the Faculty of Education Methodology as a professor working. Uh, in the today's lecture, I am going to take a topic of decision theory, the basic concepts of decision theory and its components. This topic just belongs to course Operation Research under the program of BB and BB LLB 6th semester of the university. So the today's topic of decision theory is a part of the subject course that is called Operation Research. Operation Research uh, is a very important subject of mathematics and it has applications in various different programs which includes like engineering, basic sciences, mathematics, even business management, defense, and other fields as well, like agriculture, manufacturing, and so many different fields are there in which the concept of operation research can be applied. So operation research ultimately gives us the optimum solutions to our problems, means the best possible solution which gives us the maximization of in terms of like profit, the minimization of consuming time, cost, and etc. So one of the module is decision theory in the operation research, and the decision theory is very good for the researcher to make decisions in favorable and unfavorable conditions. So the today's module is whole about the basic concepts and the different topics, different areas of decision theory and the components of the decision theory. So the decision theory is a theory about the decisions and this is an interdisciplinary approach to arrive at decisions that are most advantageous given in an uncertain environment. Sometimes we can see there just in the favorable conditions, in the certain conditions, the decisions to be made is not difficult for any person, for any like researcher, but for the uncertain environment and the conditions where like risk is there, all the critical conditions are there. In such conditions, the decision theory model just will help us to take the decisions for the researcher, and ultimately it is a scientific method just which would be much helpful in the different conditions for the researcher. So decision theory brings together psychology, statistics, philosophy, and mathematics to analyze the decision making process. Decision theory is closely related to game theory and is studied within the context of the understanding the activities and decisions uh, underpinning activities such as auctions, evolution, and the marketing. So the decision theory means just I have explained here that it is much more useful in the different critical conditions and different areas, and it is somewhat like similar to the model of the game theory. But the game theory is model quite different from the decision theory, because decision theory is just the model which is helpful for the researcher to make decisions in the various conditions. But the game theory model is the model of operation research, which would be helpful to make decisions for the conditions of a competitive area when the players or when the like two researcher or the two competitors are just in that condition. So like decision theory is just dealing with various conditions in all kind of conditions and to make the good decisions in such conditions. The main three areas of decision theory includes these are the descriptive decision theory, second is perspective decision theory, and the normative decision theory. So uh, first is a descriptive decision theory, and this theory explains the typical manner in which the agents make decisions, some of rational, some of intuitive, and some of the quite irrational. So this is the first kind of decision theory, descriptive, and where the researcher or the agents make decisions for the rational, for the intuitive, and for the quite irrational decisions are made in these conditions. Second is the prescriptive decision theory, and this theory tries to provide the guidelines for the agents, for the researcher to make the best possible decisions given an uncertain decision making framework. So, when the conditions are not certain for the decision maker, for the researcher, then in such conditions, how to make the decision that can be studied in the area of prescriptive decision theory, and just it will deals with the uncertain area. The third and the last area of decision theory, which is a normative decision theory, and this theory will provide the guidance for making decisions given a set of values. So ultimately means the normative decision theory is again good one, and it will provide the decision making in the some conditions like in some areas for making decisions given a set of values. Means for the some certain values, a certain set of values, just the decision maker guides to make decisions in from these values. So these are the three main areas of decision theory. And next is decision theory framework generally identifies the following types, three types of decision cases. First is decision under certainty. So now we are just discussing the identities of following three types of decision cases. In which here the first one is the decisions under decisions under certainty, second is decisions under uncertainty, and third one is decision under the conflict situation. So first one, which is the decisions under the certain area, under the certain conditions, and in this, due to the abundance of information, it provided to an obvious decision, because for the researcher there are certain information is available. If certain information is available for the decision maker, for the researcher, then definitely the decision which will be made by him, that would be quite good, because it is made by the sufficient information which is just with these information. So therefore, decision under certainty uh, is a good decision ultimately, and by the researcher, by the investigator. So in this condition, in this criteria, the decision maker can make a decision with certainty, and with ultimately its results will come good for him. Second is decision under uncertainty. So analysis of known and unknown variable provide to the best probabilistic decision. In this condition, when the decision are made with uncertainty area or the uncertainty conditions, then analysis of known and unknown variable provides to the best probabilistic decision. So in this case, ultimately the researcher has to make decisions, and the results, the decisions provided to the best probabilistic with the best possibility or the best probabilistic, because in the some cases the decision maker has a certain knowledge, and in some cases the decision maker has not the certain knowledge. Therefore the results or the decisions will be uncertain ultimately, or just based upon the probabilistic concepts. Probabilistic concepts means here it deals with the scientific method where some probabilities will be assigned for the possible like course of action for the decision maker, and on the ground of these courses of action with the probability, so researcher has to make decisions in the probabilistic way. Third one is decision under the conflict. So a research approach that involves anticipating potential consequences to the decision prior to making a decision. So under the conflict conditions, the researcher just a reactive approach is there, and that involves anticipating potential consequences to the decision prior to making the decision. So ultimately, these are the three uh, types of decision classes. And now next are truly interdisciplinary subject. So decision theory is a truly interdisciplinary subject because it is a model of operation research, and it is useful for the various different areas, for the different fields of like real life here. Just I have discussed here in business, in marketing, in the defense services, all the different this interdisciplinary area this subject can be applied. So modern decision theory has developed since the middle of the 20th century through the contributions from the several academic disciplines. Although it is now clearly an academic subject of its own right, decision theory is typically pursued by researchers who identify themselves as economist, statistician, psychologist, political, and a social scientist or the philosopher. There is some division of the labor between these disciplines. A political scientist is likely to study voting rules and the other aspects of the collective decision making. So now we are just dividing the different areas in which the decision maker decisions. Like for the a political scientist is likely to study voting rules and other aspects of the collective decision making, while a psychologist is likely to study the behavior of individuals in decisions, and a philosopher the requirements for the rationality in decisions. Philosopher means the requirements he has to require for rationality in the decisions and the components of the decision making. The five distinct parts of the consumer decision making presented are input to information processing, a decision process variable, and the external influences. So these are the five components for the decision making. The first is input. Input includes all kinds of the stimuli from our contact with the world around us, such as our experiences, marketer controlled stimuli, for example, advertising, store display, and demonstrations. Other stimuli like personal recollections, conversations with friends, and the external search. So it means input the includes all kind of stimuli from our context with the world around us. So all the like these are included in this input part of the input part of the component of decision making. Second is information processing. Stimuli the stimuli are processed into meaningful information, and this task includes the stages of exposure, attention, comprehension, yielding, and retention. So information processing means the stimuli are processed into the meaningful information, and this task includes like various stages of exposure, attention, comprehension, yielding, and the retention. The third component of decision making is the decision process. So decision process means according to the processed information, Consumers will make a consuming decision. Decision process is triggered at any time during the information processing. It consists of five steps. They are problem recognition, because we are just discussing the decision process, and these include the five steps, recognition, the problem recognition, then searching, alternative evolution, choice, and outcomes, post-purchase evolution and the behavior. Consumer demand is the starting point of any purchase decision. So these are the various just steps for the decision process. First one is the recognition of problem. Second is searching. Third is alternative evolution. Fourth is choice and outcomes. Fourth and fifth is choice and outcomes. And then consumer demand is a starting point of the purchase decision, because we can understand actually consumer demand is the can be taken as the initial point, can be taken as the starting point of any purchase decision process. Now, decision process variables, those individual qualities that make consumer unique. Decision process variables include motives, beliefs, attitudes, lifestyle, intentions, and evaluative criteria, normative compliance, and informational influence, and other aspects of self, a need. So that one is like the decision process variable. So decision process variable means here just it deals with the variables, those which are involves in the making of decision process in the, under the several conditions, and those individual qualities which make consumers unique. Decision process variables include all these concepts like motives, beliefs, attitudes, lifestyles, intentions, and the other. The fifth component, which is the last component of this decision theory, is the external influence. Such influences are called the circles of the social influence, because we are discussing on the external influence on the decision process. These are influence. These such influences are called circles of social influence. They are like culture, subculture. Subculture means co-culture as well. Social class, reference groups, and family or the household influences. Culture refers to the non-individual as members of. So, what is meaning of culture? So, this refers to the non-individual as members of society, exchange and understanding each other. Culture also refers to. Culture also is the symbol of values, ideas, and other meaning. Culture is described as the foundation of human activities, what determines the interaction between social activities and production activities. Social class refers to the relatively permanent and identically part in the society. So these are the five components of decision making, right from the first input, then second is information processing for a decision maker, and third is the decision process. Fourth one is decision process variables, because in a problem of operation research, first we have to understand the problem. Then the problem is converted into a mathematical formulation, and then in mathematical formulation there some variables are to assign the for the problem, and finally it's a solution. So the solution means the method by which the problem is solved, and one more component is here, external influence. So what like this, it deals with the various factors which affects our decisions, and these are the social influences. So these are the five components for the decision making. And in the today's lecture, we have discussed about its concepts, its areas, three main areas like descriptive decision theory, prescriptive decision theory, and the normative decision theory. And we have just explained about the interdisciplinary subject, the decision theory, as an interdisciplinary subject because it is a scientific method and which is based on various scientific concepts and it will provide the solution for the different like conditions, different environments, different with certainty, different with uncertainty, and different in the risk area. So in the later on, this just we will discuss the decision theory with all these concepts in detail. So this is the just beginning or the just basic concept of decision theory, and we have discussed today about its components. So students are advised to make some notes of this topic and like to see some examples in which the decision theory can be applied. So with this, I am concluding my today's lecture. Thank you.